Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at how to work with the text box. Okay, so when you first launch your PowerPoint, you're going to see these two text boxes are here showing up here. This is the first one, that's the title box. Okay, so these two are text boxes. Okay, so text box is simply a container for writing text. So and the second one here is for writing the subtitle. Okay, so anytime one of them is active, then you're going to see the font group here. Everything about font here and the paragraph will also be active. So if I click outside of the box, you see this place is grayed out. That means we can no longer work with this. But when you click inside of the text box, it's going to be active. Okay, so the first one you notice here, which is this one, and that is called the font type. That's where we change the handwriting from. If you need to change the handwriting, use this small arrow, click on the small arrow, and then you see different ones that you can change to. So these are different handwriting, so it's called font type. So we have Arial Black as one of them. So if you need to select any of them, all you need to do is to click on it, and then maybe if you're looking for a particular font, maybe the font is around letter R and you need to get to letter R. So what you need to do, use this down arrow to go down. If this is not fast enough, if you know how to use the scroll box, which is this box here, left click on it and drag down. When you left click on it, you should notice a change on that scroll box. Left click on it and drag down till you get to R. Okay, so if you cannot get that accurately, there is another thing you can do. So another way to do it, use your scroll wheel on the mouse. Your scroll wheel is the middle button on your mouse. Use it. So if you scroll like this, you can get to your R. Okay, if you need to scroll back, so you scroll the other way around and you can take yourself back up. Okay, so this is a way of actually, okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to choose Montessori Black. So in case you don't have that font, you can use other fonts, maybe like Arial Black. Okay, so let's work with Arial Black. So choose Arial Black. Then we're going to type something here. So let's type PowerPoint. So I want to type PowerPoint. Okay, so I've typed the PowerPoint. Now, after typing, if you need to edit this text, we can do that in at least two ways. The first way is you select the text that is inside of the text box. So how do you select it? Okay, it's very easy. Left click from here and drag backward. Or you can even left click from the beginning, that's before the P, where the cursor line is blinking right now. Left click on it and drag till you get to the T like this. So that way you are selecting the text that is inside the text box. Okay, so with this you can actually quickly change the font again if you like. Another thing you can also change, after you have changed the font type, you can also change the font size. So maybe you want to make the text bigger or smaller. So it's currently on 60. If you need to see all the font sizes, you go to this small arrow here, click on it so that you can see different ones. So as you hover your mouse on it, you're going to see the changes on the fly. You can see right now. Then we have 96 to be the highest there. Okay, so there are some times that you have some font sizes that is not part of what is written here. So if you want to choose that kind of font size, you have to type it in here. So a good example of such, we don't have 13 here, we don't have 15, we don't have 17, we don't have 19, we don't have 21, 22, 23. Okay, you can see the idea. And let me even go to this side. We don't have 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87. So if you specifically know the the font size you want to type. Let's say you want to type the font size of 86. All you need to do while this box is active, just type 86. After typing 86, then press enter on your keyboard, and then you have actually make the font size to be 86 point. So another thing you can do, you can also come to this is to increase the font size. If you press this, you are increasing the font size. Okay, so and you can notice the number here, it is 86 before, now it is 88. If I click on it again, you can see it's now 96. If I click on it again, so it's now 104. So if I need to decrease the font size, you press this second icon, so this will reduce it. Okay, so the shortcut for this increase font size is Ctrl Shift greater than sign. So if you press Ctrl and Shift down, then you press greater than sign, what you're doing, you're increasing the font size. So let's see how to do that. Ctrl Shift greater than sign, can you see you're increasing the font size? Okay, so if you press Ctrl Shift and you press less than sign, you're reducing the font size, so you're decreasing the font size. Can you see that? Okay, increase the font size. Okay, that's amazing. That's a cool shortcut that can help you too. Okay, great job. Now I've shown you how to select a text in a particular text box. How about we also learn how to select the text box itself? If you need to select the text box itself, this could be useful. Maybe you want to add a color to the text box itself, or you even want to add a border to the text box itself, or you want all the text in that particular text box to have a particular property. So this could be useful. So if you want to do this, I'll show you two ways to do this. Move your mouse to the edge. If you move it to the edge, it's going to show 4 arrows. If it shows like this, don't click yet. Just move it to the edge, any edge. If it shows 4 arrow, you left click. Okay, if you move it to the edge, if it shows 4 arrow like this, left click on it. That way you are selecting the text box. Okay, let me click inside of the text box again so that you can notice something. Now, because the cursor line is blinking inside now, okay, it's blinking inside, that means the text box is not selected. So if you need to select the text box, you have to move your mouse to the edge like this. If it shows 4 arrow, left click on it and your text box is selected. Okay, great. So let me show you the second way to select the text box. Okay, so let us make your cursor line. When you click inside like this, your cursor line will be blinking like this. So instead of, if you're not very accurate to positioning your mouse at the edge, the other way to do it is to press your escape key on the mouse. If you see the key is ESC on the mouse. If you press it, immediately it will select your text box. If you press it one time, it will select the text box. If you press it second time, it will deselect the text box. Can you see that? That text box is selected, is deselected, sorry. So notice, okay, let me click inside again. So if you want to select the text box, all you need to do is to press escape one time. If you press escape second time, it's going to deselect this text box. Okay, so look at that again. Okay, so that is deselected. Okay, very good. So let's select the text box back. So let's click inside, let's use the escape, press the escape, and the text box is selected. So this time around, we've looked at the font type, we've looked at font size, and increase font size and decrease font size. So the next thing I want you to look at is this change case here. So if I click on the change case, I want to change everything to capital letter. So to change everything to capital letter, you use this one, uppercase. So click on uppercase. Okay, so uppercase, very good. Okay, so that's a good one. So let's also type something in this subtitle. Okay, so let's type presentation there. Presentation. Okay, so after typing, if you need to select the text, you can select it like this. Just left click and drag. If you want to select the text box, move your mouse at the edge. It shows 4 arrows. Left click on it, or use your escape key. If you press escape key one time, it's going to select that text box, and then you can simply come back and change the font size. It's simply on Calibri body now, so you can change it to other ones. So you can decide to play around with the font you want. So I'm going to use the Spangas. So I select that, and then another thing you can do, you can make it bold, you can make it italic, you can create underline on it, you can even add a shadow to it. Okay, so make it bold, that's the work of this. You can make it italic, you can see that. You can create underline on it, and this you can add shadow to it. Okay, so let me remove all this. So I've added all of these 4. If I click on them the second time, I'm going to remove that text shadow. If I click on underline second time, I'm removing the underline. If I click on italic the second time, I'm removing it. If I click on bold the second time, I'm removing it. Okay, so I've removed all that. Okay, so another thing we can do is the strike through. So this strike through will only create a line through the text. This is not really common, so if you click on it again, you remove it. So another interesting one I want to see is the character spacing. So this is the spacing between all the characters, so you will notice it on the fly. So click on character spacing, and now let's make it very tight. You can see that the characters, they are very close together, and some are even overlapping. So this is normal. If I need to make it loose, you come to the first one, you can see that, and this one is very loose. Okay, let's take things easy. Let's just put it on very loose, and then let's increase the font size. Click on the font size here, then hover your mouse on it. So any one that you feel is okay for you, select it. So I'm selecting the 88. Okay, this is amazing. So now let's change the color. If you need to change the color, okay, so use a font color here. So this one is text highlight. If you need to create a highlight below a particular text, like it will look like a background text, background color on the text itself, not the text box. Okay, but the one we want to use now is the font color. The font color will only affect the text. So as you can see, if I click on this red directly, it will apply red to it. So the color that we used last normally show up here. So if you need to see all the colors, click on this arrow. Then you can see we have the theme colors and standard color. So if I hover my mouse on any of the color, you can see it on the fly. Okay, so let's just select this light blue, and then we can still go back there. Now you can see the last color we selected now showed up here. This could be useful if you need to reuse the color. Okay, let me go back again and choose another one. Let's say red. Now you can see red showing up here. Let me select another one. You can see the last color will show up here. That's amazing. Okay, great job. Okay, so there are some times where you need to resize your text box. So if you need to resize, you can resize from the side, or you can resize from corner. Okay, to resize from the side or corner, all you need to do is to move your mouse on the white dot. So this white dot, you move your mouse on it. If it shows 2 arrows, it means you are ready to resize. If it shows 2 arrows, you are ready to resize. But if it shows 4 arrows, it means you're not resizing. Okay, 2 arrows will be for resizing. So if it shows 2 arrows like this, left click on it and drag. That way you're resizing. Okay, so I want to exaggerate this a little bit. Let me drag like this. As you can see now, as I drag to this side, the text flow to the next line. So as you can see, we have presenter on the first line, and shown on the second line. So if this happen, maybe as you are adjusting the font size here, you are adjusting the font size, and then you notice that your text actually flow to the next line, and you need to adjust it to be on one line. So all you need to do, left click on the side. If it shows two arrows like this, left click and you drag it. Okay, I'm just exaggerating that so you can get it. Okay, great job. So another thing you can do is to move the text box. So if you need to move the text box to another position, all you need to do is to hover your mouse at the edge. Make sure it's edge, and this time around you're targeting 4 arrows. If it shows 4 arrows, left click on it and drag 4 arrows. That is all you need, not 2 arrows. If you hover your mouse at the white dot, that is the one that will show 2 arrows. But if you just hover your mouse at the edge, anywhere at the edge, if it shows 4 arrows, you can left click on it and drag to another position. So if you drag it to the exact center, you can see like a red line showing vertically and horizontally. It means you've gotten it accurately at the center and at the middle. Okay, great job. Okay, so that's amazing. So now you can see we've typed in text box that is given as part of when you just launch your PowerPoint. This text box, text box here is what is given to us. But most of the time, this limits us on what we can do. Okay, I will show you one of the limits now. One of the limits, if we try to increase the font size, now you should notice it's on 61 now. If I try to increase it, do you notice that it's not changing? Can you see that? It's not changing. But if I increase this box now, then let me increase it, you can see it will accommodate it. But when it gets to an extent, the font size might start reducing. Okay, so it's on 106 right now. It has filled the box. Okay, 1082. Okay, can you see from 108 it came back to 101? You can see that 103, 105, 107, 109 now. When it gets to 109, it came back to 102. You can see that. Now, this box is limiting us. Reason being that this is what has been specified in the master file. So that is actually done from here, from this view. And if you go to the slide master, that is where it's been done from. But that is an advanced topic for now. So let's go back to the home. So this is what we want to do. We want to draw the text box from the scratch on our own. We don't need to rely on this. So let me show you how to do this. And this is also like the good way to do it. You do everything from the ground up yourself. Okay, so to do this, first we need to create a new slide. So we don't want to do it on the same slide. We need to create a new slide on the slide pane. So to create a new slide on the slide pane, just press Ctrl M one time. You're pressing the M one time, and you notice right now when we press Ctrl M, it's coming with this kind of slide layout, but we don't want this kind of slide layout, so we need to change it. Go to this place, layout. I want to change it to be a blank, so click on blank. So it means we want to do everything on our own. Okay, very good. So to add a text box into your PowerPoint, what you need to do is to go to the shapes. You can locate the shapes from the home tab or from the insert tab. So from the home tab, you go to the drawings group. You see this is where we have the shapes. Click on this more button and then look for this under basic shapes. Locate this icon that says A, that's the text box, or you can also see it here. Okay, so if you click on it, now it's showing like a cross facing down. That tells you that your text box is selected. Okay, so if you need to draw your text box, there are two ways to draw your text box. So if you just want to type, let's say, the title of something, and you don't need you just want to type a title of something, you could just click directly. So click one time. When you click one time, after that, then you can just start typing. So the advantage of this one is you can only use it to type short text. So if you type now, the typing will continue like that unless you press enter to go to the next line. If you don't press enter, it will not go to the next line automatically. So let's put that to a test. I'm just typing some text randomly now. As you can see, it continues like that. Can you see that? It's continuing like that. But if I press the enter key, now it will go to the next line. If I press enter key again, it will go to the next line. But without the enter key, this text box is going to continue on one line. Let's click outside now. Click outside. Okay, so if we need to delete this text box, all we need to do, hover your mouse on the edge of the text box. Just make sure it's the edge if you can get it accurately. But if you cannot get it accurately, click inside of the text box first. Make sure the cursor line is blinking like this. Then press escape key or move your mouse at the edge like this and left click on it one time if it shows 4 arrows. Okay, so with this now, you can just press your backspace key or you press delete key, and that way you delete that particular text box. Okay, so let's go back there to draw. So instead of drawing from the home tab, you can also go to the insert tab to get it right. You can also go to the insert tab to draw your shape from there. So click on insert and then you can see it from the shapes. Okay, so another where you can see it from, even from this insert tab, you can also come here, so you can draw your text box from here. Okay, so let's do it from the shapes. Click on shapes, and because we recently use it, it's part of the recently used shapes here. You can click on it. Click on it now. Okay, so now the one we draw before, what we did, we just left click on the canvas directly. But this one we want to draw now, you're going to left click and drag it. Left click and drag it. Okay, so when you're okay like this, you let go. Okay, this kind of text box we're drawing right now is the one we can use to write a lot of text, like a paragraph text. Okay, so the one we draw earlier is used for writing like just short title. This one can be used for writing a lot of text. Great. So now we can just type something. So I want you to look at the difference of what I said before, where the first one that we drew, that if you start typing, the what you're typing will continue on one line. But for this now, when we type and it gets to this, automatically it will flow to the next line. So let's look at that. So I'm just typing something randomly now. You can see now when it gets to that boundary, it start from the next line. So automatically when it gets to the boundary, it will start from another line again. This could be useful if you're trying to type a lot of text. This will make much sense. Okay, so another thing I want to tell you again, you can also use this this one that we're using, this text box that we're using to type the paragraph. You can also use it to type the short title. You can also use it. Okay, so let's try to see that. So I'm selecting everything using Ctrl A. So while the cursor line is active inside, I can just press Ctrl A because the cursor line is inside. So when I press Ctrl A, it will select all the text that is inside of that text box. Then if I press the backspace, I can delete all the text. Can you see that? Now this time around, I want to type PowerPoint. So let me type PowerPoint. Okay, so let me just type it, PowerPoint presentation space presentation. Okay, that's amazing. So if you need to select the text box now, you can just press your escape key. Okay, so first thing, we need to change the font type. So come here, this arrow, just as we did earlier, let's change it to Arial Black. Great. And let's increase the font size. Come to font size. Okay, you can see right now is on 96 point. Okay, what you notice right now that everything is now on 3 lines. We have the first line here, the second line here, and the third line here. It's on 3 lines. So if you decide to make it be on 2 lines only, so all you can do is you can drag from the side, maybe from the right side or from the left side, and make sure you position your mouse on the white dot. If it shows 2 arrows, left click on it and drag. So that's all you need to do. So it's now on 2 lines. Okay, that's amazing. Great job. Okay, so another thing you can do, you can move this text box that you have typed, you can move it to another location. If you need to move it to another location, just hover your mouse at the edge. If it shows 4 arrow anywhere at the edge, make sure it shows 4 arrow. If it shows 4 arrow, left click on it and drag down. So if you want to make it be at the middle and center, so center means horizontal alignment and middle means vertical alignment. Okay, so let's look at it. So now this is vertically aligned to the middle, so let's move it slightly so that it's aligned also to. Now can you see now the 2 red line is showing? One is vertical red line and the other is horizontal red line. This simply means that we have positioned it to the center vertically and horizontally. Center for horizontal alignment and middle for vertical alignment. Okay, great job. So let's go of the left click. So another thing you can do, you can change the case. So go to change case. Okay, so you know that we have PowerPoint presentation, which is 2 words here. If I decide to change it to sentence case, it means only this first letter that is going to be capitalized. Then if I go to lowercase, everything will be on small letters. If I go to uppercase, capital letter, so which we've done that before. Then capitalize each word. That means the first letter in each word will be capitalized. Can you see? The 2 P's now, this P and this P is going to be capitalized when you hover your mouse on capitalize each word. So if you have 100 words and you select this capitalize each word, it means every first letter in each word will be capitalized. Okay, so for the toggle case, is going to add the other way around. Any letter that is capitalized will be changed to small letter, and any letter that is in small letter will be changed to capital letter. That's what the toggle case is for. So it's not really much in use. Okay, so the one we can focus our mind on is capitalize each word, uppercase, lowercase, and the sentence case. Okay, the one we want to use in this case is capitalize each word. Okay, so and then if you also notice the way we type the PowerPoint, we type the PowerPoint and this P, we type this P here to be capital letter. Okay, so if you need to do that, because you can look at it now, it's showing red line. If you need to correct that, you can just right click on the text, right click on the text, and you can see the correct one at the top here. So it means the P should be capitalized. But another way to do it, in case you don't want to right click on it, all you need to do, you can just select this P only. Just left click here and drag to this place. Okay, left click here and drag to this place. That's all you need to do. So if you cannot get it accurately with your mouse, there's another way you can do it. Make sure your cursor line is blinking here, then hold down your shift and press the backward arrow. Okay, so another way to do it, you can place your mouse before the P like this. Place your mouse before the P, hold down your shift, but this time around you press the forward arrow. That way you'll be selecting that letter P. Okay, after you select that letter P, now to type capital letter, okay, so make sure your caps lock is not on. So you know you can also use caps lock to type capital letter P, but if you don't want to use caps lock, you can just temporarily hold down the shift and press letter P, but make sure the caps lock is not on. So temporarily press shift down and press letter P. That way you'll be typing capital letter P. So if you're going to type any letter in capital letter, just hold down the shift and press that particular letter. That's how to do it. Great. You're doing a good job. Well done. Okay, so we want to add color to only this presentation. So you can see everything is black. So if we need to select, so if I select the text box, okay, so let me explain this part first before I go there. So if I select the text box, and I've shown you how to select text box, while the cursor is blinking, you can press the escape, or you can just move your mouse to the edge like this. If you click at the edge showing 4 arrow, click, you are selecting that text box. And if you go to your font color, you can select it, any of the color. You can see any color you are selecting is going to be applying that same color to all the text. All the text in that text box will have that same color that you are choosing. Okay, so I've choose that color. Just left click on it and you'll be choosing it. Okay, so if that's not what you want to do, let's assume now you want PowerPoint to have a different color and presentation to have a different color. It means you have to select the text that is inside of the text box. So to do this, if it's a word, you can double click on that word and you'll be selecting the text box. So let's double click on presentation 1, 2. So that is how to double click. Then if you don't want to use double click, you can use the left click and drag technique. So left click it and drag to the left side, or you can even do it from the beginning. Left click from the beginning and drag towards the right hand side like this. That way you're selecting the text presentation. So remember, you can double click on a word to select that particular word. So when you double click on it, you select the word. Now let's change the font color here. We can change the font color. Can you see that? We can change the handwriting. We can change the font size. We can add font style to it, like bold, italic, underline, text style, and all those stuffs. We can increase the character spacing or even make it tighter. Okay, we can also even change the change case. You can see all those, we can actually do them. Okay, so that's amazing. You can resize your text box. I think I've shown you that. You can also resize from corner. So if you are resizing from corner, just left click. If it shows 2 arrow, left click and drag it. You can see that. I'm just showing you this so in case if you maybe you increase the font size and something is showing like this and you need to drag it back, you can drag it from the corner too instead of the side like this. Just hover your mouse at the corner. If it shows 2 arrow like this, left click and drag it. So you wanted it to be on 2 line. Okay, if you want this whole text to be on 1 line, so the way to do it, you have to reduce the font size. So let me show you how to do that. You reduce the font size, use the decrease font size. You want to resize this text box now. All you can do is move your mouse here and drag. Okay, and for this one too, you can drag from here. Now you can see now that everything is on 1 line. So if you need to move it to the middle, just position your mouse at the edge. If it shows 4 arrow, left click on it and drag. Okay, great. Okay, so another final thing I want to show you, you can reposition the text that is inside of the text box. You can reposition it. Okay, so let me demonstrate this in a way. Let me delete this presentation so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I need to select, you already know how to select it. So left click here. You can see now, if I want to left click the presentation while this thing is selected, it's showing 4 arrow. Move your mouse to the end, close to the end, and the cursor line is going to change to an eye. Left click and drag. So you have select presentation. Now press the backspace to remove the presentation. Now what I have left is just this PowerPoint. Okay, great. So press your escape key now so that the text box can be selected. So text box is selected. Good job. So now we want to use this horizontal alignment. Now it's currently on the align left, so the shortcut is Ctrl L. If I go to center align, that is Ctrl E. You notice now that the text moved to the center of this text box. Now if I go to the other one, which is align right, Ctrl R, it's going to position it to the right side. And then the last one, which is justify. If I click on justify, it will still look like this align left. Okay, so you will not notice this now unless you have a lot of text in your text box. If you have a lot of text in your text box, you'll be able to notice what this one is doing. So just this justify will only adjust itself and distribute the spaces evenly. So in case if there is any extra space, it's going to share those extra space between the text. Okay, so that's the work of that justify, and the shortcut is Ctrl J. Okay, amazing. We've done a good job so far. See you in the next class.